JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today's the 23rd of June 2022. So yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Thursday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, we'll give you a few seconds to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, as always, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our jfdbrokers.com website, and specifically the market news and analysis page, which is updated on a daily basis. So check us out here, and I believe you can find some useful information. Now then, guys, jumping into the charts, the first one I want to pick up here is Nikkei 225. So yep, as you can see, given that we've drifted back below this area, kind of shows that yes, the below this the 26,321 territory, the one that I spoke about previously, it kind of shows us that that yes, it is not really ready yet to rebound heavily to the upside, but nevertheless, I mean, of course, the chance still remains, the opportunity is still there for the bulls. Now, I think that a few levels have to be adjusted now, because I think this is getting a little bit messy. So, basically, I think that this level here, the 26,321, it kind of did its job already, so it acted as a bit of a gauge here. So now I would say let's mark the high of this week, the current highest point of this week, near the 26,462 territory. If we jump above this, this is probably where we could get a little bit more excited with the upside. For the downside, I'm still keeping an eye on this highlighted territory right there, especially the 25,688 zone. Nice good drop below it may attract a few more sellers, but then of course we still would need to be a little bit careful, because we have this the current lowest point of June near the 25,520 level right there. Shanghai Composite, guys. Now, okay, so the break happened, the break below this upside line happened, and look at this. This is exactly why I was saying that wait for that drop below that 3,263 territory. As you can see here, we we had a move lower. We had a test of that that 100-day EMA and also of that 3,263 territory, but it provided good support. So I'm still waiting for a nice good drop below it in order to aim lower. If we break below this, then yes, we could aim for that 21-day EMA, or we could go even further south here towards some of these other levels, like for example this one right here, the 3,160 level, the one that I kept on mentioning previously, which previously acted as a good area of resistance. Then we overcame it and we started pushing further north. So this level could act as a good area of support this time. So let's see how all this is going to play out. Now, the German index DAX. So looking at this, and yep, it's still quite interesting, because yesterday we saw a decline here, a drop below this highlighted territory. Yes, we aimed lower. We tested the at that time the lowest point of June, which was around the 13,000 mark. We overshot it by a little bit, created a new low for June, reaching the area around the 12,965 level. So approximately approximately around there, and we rebounded from that area. Now the cash index is currently trading at around 13,100 zone, so basically still below the highlighted territory, but above yesterday's low, or in other words the lowest point of June. So if you're looking for some further declines, obviously a drop below this hurdle is needed, just to be a little bit more on the safe side, because a nice good break below it would confirm a forthcoming lower low. Now Nasdaq 100. So Nasdaq did rebound somewhat, but failed to stay in positive territory for the day, and drifted back to the downside. The cash index is currently sitting at around 11,500, if I'm not mistaken, level. Let me just double check this. Yeah, 518 area. So not far, I would say not far from where it closed. Yesterday. We're still below the this highlighted territory, but to be honest, looking at this picture, I think a few adjustments have to be made already, because it's getting messier and some of the levels are starting to not work. So let me just do one thing here, remove all the drawings, and let's start a bit fresh, I would say. So for example, first of all, of course, I'm going to keep an eye on this downside line taken from the high of the 4th of April, so it's somewhere around here. In terms of the downside, I would say a drop below this 11,037 territory, which is the current lowest point of June, could do the trick for a few more sellers, and of course, yes, we could go further south. Now, in terms of the other target here for the downside, yes, we could keep an eye on this 10,678 level, marked by the lowest point of September of 2020, and then, yeah, of course, we could go further south if, of course, that level, fails to provide support. However, in order to kind of aim for all these areas, still a break below this 11,037 territory is required. Now then, jumping into the in terms of the upside, I would say jumping into higher levels. Let's say if we want to consider higher levels, then yeah, certainly a break of this downside line could be the case. Could be an interesting option to consider. But again, given at this point, I mean, let's say it could still drift higher, but yeah, we could class any move higher here right now as a temporary correction before another possible leg of selling. Now, my only little issue here is, for example, that it seems that we are struggling with this area somewhere around here, and to be a little bit more careful, I think this is the area in question. So this is this area between the 11,492 area and the 11,576 hurdles here. So yeah, as you can see, we are kind of we are jumping around up and down here, but overall we're kind of staying near this hurdle. So if we push above this area again, yes, I will consider a larger correction here to the upside, where my next target will be this downside resistance line taken from the high of the 4th of April. The S&P 500. So similar story, to be honest. I mean, we moved higher. We tried to move higher. We failed to close in positive territory, and yeah, we drifted back down. The cash index is currently sitting at around 3,753 levels, so slightly below where it closed yesterday. Again, similar story. I would like to see maybe a drop below this 3,645 territory, 446 territory right there, the highlighted one, and then kind of go lower, just to be a little bit more on the safe side. At this point, I mean, if I'm looking for some upside, maybe as a corrective move higher, but a push basically above that 38 level could be nice in order for, for more bulls to jump in here. So let's keep that in mind. DXY, the dollar index, The dollar index is breaking, or yesterday it broke this upside line but drifted back up above it. Today it's already below this upside line again, so in a way there is an opportunity for this one to actually move lower. And yeah, if you're looking for some downside here, then a drop below this 103.94 territory, somewhere around here, might do the trick for a few more sellers, guys. So keep that in mind. If you're looking for some higher levels, well, I mean, 105 area still is the one to watch for me, so I need to see a nice good push above it in order to consider a higher move to the upside. Gold. So this one I think really is in need of a adjustment in terms of, let's remove all the drawings here and again start fresh. Overall, I mean overall, probably from around somewhere around the beginning of May, the commodity continues to oscillate around that 200-day EMA and kind of, I would say, somewhat above the around that 21-day EMA. The 100-day EMA is doing its job and providing support and resistance. Now, if we are looking for some higher levels on this one, then I would say the more conservative approach here is to wait for a break of this downside line taken from the high of the 8th of March. If you're looking for some lower levels, now the more conservative approach is to wait maybe for a drop somewhere below this 1807 territory right there, which, as you can see, I've mentioned this level before, and this level acted as a good area of support last week, so yep, from which we rebounded back higher. At the moment, I would say this way, that if you're from the very short-term perspective, maybe a drop below yesterday's low marked by the 1823 level here could do the trick, and we could see, a further move south here towards that 1807 level, and then from here, maybe then we can wait for that break of that hurdle. But again, at the moment, I would say it's a bit of a waiting game here. Let me just quickly mark this on the chart here. So this is for our future reference, and I would say if you're looking for some lower levels, then yes, I need to see a drop. I need to see a drop below this 1807 territory, because looking in this picture, I mean, it's maybe, just maybe, we could be forming a possible descending triangle pattern here overall. So yeah, keep that in mind. From the slightly shorter term perspective, something that I mentioned is something that I've noticed is this downside line, which continues to kind of do its jobs in a way. I mean, we did get a small little violation of it, but still it kind of is doing its job in a way. So however, I mean, it's a very tentative line, so you might ignore this. I would say mainly stick to some key support and resistance levels in this point, because if you want to aim for the upside, maybe keep an eye on yesterday's high near the 1848 level. A nice good push above this, then yes, could lead to some upside. Of course, the one of my favorite levels here is the 1858 level that somehow continues to do its job and yeah, provide resistance. But basically, I would say this way, that if we do push above this 1848 level, then yeah, we could consider a move a little bit to the upside. Now, okay, oil, look at this, guys. Oil continues to slide, and boom, there we go. Yesterday I mentioned this 104, or actually the 105 territory. I mentioned that one. I said that if we drop below this, then this could lead to some lower levels. We did move lower. My initial target was around the 98.23 zone, and yep, we actually made only half of the way towards that level, and then we reversed back up. Now we're currently resting, or should I say trading near that 105 zone, and just bang on that 100-day EMA. If you're looking for some for the downside, then I would say as long as it stays below this 105 area, below that 100-day EMA, then yes, we could go lower, guys. At the moment, there's some pressure on oil due to increased concerns of over recession, possible recession. So yep, yeah, that's why for now the oil market is kind of drifting to the downside. So yeah, let's see how that's going to play out. For the upside, I would like to see this one kind of maybe pushing back above this 114.79 territory. Again, it's way big of a territory to miss out, but I mean, you could start from somewhere around here. I would say, just let me put a chart, put an arrow here. So if you somehow climb back above this upside line, then yes, maybe that could help. That could help out, and we could then go to the upside. But at this time right now, then we now have a newly established downside line, which is in the way here. So basically, a good idea here is to watch the crossroads between these two trend lines, as a nice break above it may open the door towards some higher levels. Litecoin, guys. Litecoin is trying to fight, and or should I say the bulls are trying to fight and trying to lift this one. We're currently it seems like we're currently forming somewhat of a bullish flag here. Can we overcome that 21-day EMA? We are currently overcoming that 54 territory, so kind of one good thing at a time. But can we overcome the 21-day EMA? Well, because it has been acting as a strong area of resistance lately, but if the third time is a lucky one, then there we go. I mean, this could open the door towards that 64.60 level, or even this downside resistance line taken from the high of the 30th of March. For the downside, yeah, straightforward. I mean, I'm still watching this, waiting for a drop somewhere below this 41.66 level, and then yeah, we could go lower. Now, AUD USD, guys. AUD USD, this one's just drifting lower, but at the moment I'm just playing the waiting game here because in a way, I mean, yeah, it's moving nicely to the downside. I would actually prefer to wait for a drop somewhere below this 0.6850 territory in order to get a little bit more excited with lower levels. Now, yes, we are trading below this downside line right now, taken from the high of the 3rd of June, but let's not forget that we're also trading above this other tentative short-term tentative downside resistance line, taken from the high, taken from the low of the 12th of May. So that's why this level here, the 0.6850, comes in nicely. AUDCH sharp, guys. Okay, so continues the slide. Look at this beautiful move to the downside, guys. I mean, one man's loss is another man's opportunity, of course. So, yep, we are seeing a nice drop here. We are kind of moving below this upside line, so everything's kind of working out nicely here for the bears. But don't get me wrong, at some point we will find some support and we will rebound. However, where will that be? It could be somewhere near these levels. I would say at the moment I'm just going to continue observing this one. I want to see how it's going to play out, but yeah, I'm keeping an eye on this area right here, the first of course the 0.6581 level, and then slightly below that we do have some others. The more important level for me is of course this one, the lowest point of January of 2022, or in other words the lowest point of 2022, the current lowest point of 2022, near the 0.6484 level. That could be quite an interesting target later on, but at the moment I would say we could drift lower. We will. I'm assuming that we could have a nice reversal somewhere, maybe from this. Let me just highlight this area. Somewhere from around this area, and again, it's a very wide area, so at the moment I'm just watching this one. I mean, I want to see how far this is going to slide. If it finds support somewhere near one of these levels here, great. Okay, we will reevaluate things here, and maybe we'll see a nice rebound. So yeah, at the moment I'm kind of keeping an eye on this hurdle. I don't have a specific level in mind, to be honest, because all of them are, let's say, equally tentative. So yeah, let's see how this is going to play out. For the upside, I need to see a push back above this upside line, and then yeah, it could go a little bit higher maybe. USD JPY quick update. So yeah, this one's fooling around right now with that 135 territory, 135.58 level. I spoke about this. I think this acted as a good area. This acted as a good barrier initially for me, and I said that if we break it, then we could go higher. We broke it. We went higher. Now we're seeing a retracement. We already saw a retracement, and this hurdle here, right now, is acting as a somewhat of a good area of support. I need to see a nice good drop below this whole zone right here, and I think that I need to actually mark not only that level but also this one right here. So yeah, this whole area is doing its job right now, and it's providing good support. If we continue to trade above this area, then yes, I will go further north. USD JPY. Now this one's moving nicely to the downside. We broke the upside line yesterday. Look at this. I mean, we broke the upside line again. Again, because a few times we already had these false breakouts. But the most important, that we've dropped and stayed below that 0.9620 territory. So that's a good achievement here for the bears. And to be honest, look at this. I mean, if you remember, a couple of weeks ago, I talked about this being maybe a possible double top pattern, but well, I said that, well, don't rush into anything, because again, it's we need some confirmation breaks, and yes, for me the confirmation break was to the downside, was below this 0.9873 territory, which we got, and that's, yeah, worked out perfectly. Now we're seeing a further slide, so I'm not really drawing this arrow all the way somewhere lower here, but only up until this 0.9545 zone, which could be the so-called neckline, and yeah, and then we'll just take it from there. In terms of course, don't get me wrong, I mean, maybe this is not going to be a double top pattern. Maybe from here it will rebound and it will push back up and it will travel all the way to this highlighted zone here, and then, you know, from here we'll just start ranging. So yeah, keep that in mind as well. So at the moment I'm only aiming for this area. Let's see if we can reach that. GBP CAD. So yesterday I talked about this one, and yeah, I said that this could be quite interesting because it seems to be forming a possible bullish flag, and well, at the moment it seems like to be the case. However, either way, if it is a bullish flag, I mean, okay, I still need to see a break of this downside line here, taken from the high of the 14th of April, in order for me to get a little bit more excited with the upside. Of course, for me to get comfortable with the upside, I need to see a push above this 1.60 territory somewhere around here, and then I'll go further north. If it starts falling somewhere below this 1.5729 territory right there, marked by the inside swing high of the 14th of June, I will aim to the downside. GBP Aussie. So I haven't looked at this one for quite a while, but again, it's also quite interesting because we are approaching this key resistance area between the 1.7857 and the 1.7887 levels, and yeah, if you wanna aim higher, then a push through this highlighted territory would be needed. If we break through this, then yes, this will confirm a forthcoming higher high, and yeah, potentially more buyers could join in here. So in order for me, like I said, to get comfortable with the upside, I need to see a move through this highlighted area. For the downside, now again, this is a bit of a tricky one here, because in a way any move lower could be classed as a temporary correction, because as you can see, we are trading above this upside line. However, on the other hand, we are also trading within this range, so so yeah, keep that in mind, because maybe this upside line will be just you know, as a short-term kind of tentative upside line, which will be ignored later on. But again, at the moment I'm aiming to the upside, but I need to see a confirmation break through this this highlighted area right here, and also I'd like to see the pair staying above that area, just to be a little bit more on the safe side. Euro NZD. boom, there we go, guys. Yesterday we've reached the highlighted area, we found resistance, and this morning we are pushing through it. So this is finally we have approached that area. Now the question here is, can we stay above this highlighted territory? For now, I can see that we are staying, so I'm leaning towards the upside. But if suddenly we drop and stay below this zone, this 1.6842 territory right here, then yeah, I will maybe consider another correction here to the downside towards this upside line taken from the low, the 5th of April. EURUSD, finally on this one, slowly grinding higher, but the same analysis remains. Not much to talk about here. I'm just observing the price action right now, and I need to see a clear breakthrough one of my levels here in order to go, like, you know, into either direction. So I need to see a push somewhere above this 1.0636 level in order to aim for the upside, and for the downside somewhere drop below this initially of course, a drop below the 1.0460 might do the trick here for a few more sellers. But basically the same analysis remains as previously. So yeah, guys, that's it for this session. I really hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for watching and listening. I really appreciate your attendance. Thank you for that. Thank you very much for watching this in replay as well, if you're watching it in replay. But yeah, I hope you have a fantastic trading day. As always, guys, stay safe, have your stop losses in place, and everything will be fine. So have a nice trading day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.